phase of moon.
Welcome back to Third Phase of Moon. My name is Blake Cousins, and it's May 31st, 2013. At the end of May, we're going over some of the amazing footage that we've received right here at Third Phase of Moon, and it has been a busy month. We've been receiving videos from, unfortunately, Oklahoma, where the disaster happened, more California, more Oklahoma. Some incredible video looked to be a massive fleet hovering over, the destruction area. Also, we spoke with Searle, Professor Searle. He is the man that developed the machine. He's been developing it for over 60 years. He's had the technology. Free energy is here, and he claims he has a device right there in the UK, and it was an amazing interview that we had that we're going to be posting later on Third Phase of Moon. Also, we've been covering some paranormal activity happening right here on the Big Island in regards to the night marchers and the White Lady. And I suggest, if you haven't seen these videos, go to Third Phase of Moon, look up UFO sightings, Ghost Town, the White Lady special report. It is absolutely incredible. A whole town is being haunted by a ghost, and it was quite interesting going around the town and getting people's testimony, because that's what Third Phase of Moon is all about, getting the word out, getting people's testimony, getting their footage, and sharing it with the world. And we're going to be talking with special guests right here from around the world, including the summoner. Robert Bingham is here, the man who summons UFOs there in Los Angeles. He holds live events. He invites the public to show up, skeptics, believers, debunkers, you name it. People show up from around the world to view these major events happening in Los Angeles. And I want to bring on right now Robert Bingham. Hey, thanks for joining us right here at Third Phase of Moon.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, Robert. Hey, tell us what's going on. I know we've been watching and keeping update on your YouTube channel, UFO Robert Bingham. You're constantly posting things up. Tell us about what happened this last week.
Well, last week I did an event for BBC, which is, I don't want to talk too much. I don't know if I can. They're doing a pilot for a new series that won't be airing till about January, February. And they wanted me to be part of that new pilot, I think the first episode. And so they were there, and I think the producer, she was very, because I had her over my house, and I showed her a lot of the photos that I have and videos. And so she was very optimistic about it happening. But there were some people there, I think they just, they're there just because it's their job. But after, what was incredible is after I summoned them, they were there. Every time they had me do it over and over sometimes, and every time I did it, they showed up. One was a triangular formation. It was a formation that turned into a triangular, and it stood there for half an hour. And then we had some black ones that showed up, and some people took some incredible shots. But unfortunately, I couldn't be filming because I was doing the film work. So we haven't posted anything on the event.
There are some videos going around.
There's
some video going around circulating on YouTube of one of your events that you had, I think, on the 11th, and it showed some kind of triangular, formation in the sky, and it was captured on video, and I think it was featured in this month's Favorite UFOs by Anonymous UFOs. I guess they posted that video.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's it. That's one of my followers, John Graff, videoed that. A number of other people videoed it, and so they're posting it. It's really a good video.
The videos keep coming in.
I'm just excited because the BBC filmed it also, and they'll be. They saw a lot of incredible things that day. There was a lot of activity, and so I think I turned some skeptics into true believers.
Well, I think it's a great thing that the BBC picked up on your story, and they're going to share it with the UK, and we look forward to seeing the series that they put together on you, Robert. We also have Dr. J. Andy Elias joining us here on the show. I know he's followed some of your events, and he's actually captured unidentified flying objects at the event. No, that's the power that Robert Bingham claims he has, and whether you believe him or not, there's always some kind of activity going on in the skies, right, Robert?
Oh, yes, correct, Blake. I did an event in Anaheim. They asked me to do a talk. One of the speakers had canceled out, so a friend of mine asked me if I would take her place. So I went over there and did an hour talk, or half an hour talk, and then I proceeded to explain how I do summon the craft, and I did the summoning, and I'm not kidding, about maybe a second or two, somebody said they were there, and we stood there for an hour, for one whole hour. Well, everybody took pictures. We posted it on my website, UFO Robert Bingham. It's unfortunately it's not getting that many hits. I don't know why, but it's there, and we posted a video on that.
Well, that's, if you want to get the word out, I think the best thing to do is share some of these clips on Third Phase. We have over 80,000 subscribers, 60 million views worldwide. Third Phase of the Moon is rated the top UFO channel in regards to the UFO phenomenon, and we'd like to share some of your videos. Give us some clips. We could put the word out. Hey, Dr. J. Andy Elias.
I'll make sure I do that, please.
Okay, cool. We want to look over some of the videos, and that's what we do over here. We want to share, events and UFO activity happening over the skies of Los Angeles, and possibly even do some more follow-ups in the future.
Oh, for sure. I plan on taking this, like I said, into a place where it hasn't gone before.
Yes. Well,
I've been getting a lot. I live on top of I live in a penthouse that's on top of the building, and I get really good footage of what you might call ships. But I get a lot of comments on my channel for the ones that I show, that they're balloons, and I can't believe it. But these things are incredibly big, and yet they still call them balloons. They might look like balloons, the colors, but that's what the ships do in order to not alarm the public. That's all. It's and they do morph and change shape, and I don't know what more I could do except have them land and get off and greet me. But I'm sure that's going to happen in the future.
Well, we've had our cameraman down there. Dr. J. Andy Elias was there at times, and we covered the events, and some of these things are doing incredible maneuvers. Definitely not balloon-type maneuvers. Balloons can't possibly, zoom in, stop on a dime, and then move in a direction that has some kind of intelligent, design by it. They stay in perfect formation. Balloons would drift apart. So I think you got something going there, Robert. We spoke with Stephen Greer. He claims that he has, knowledge of how to communicate with the beings, the aliens, and Dr. J. Andy Elias, can you go into a little bit about what he said in that interview?
Yes, he says a few things. First of all, that basically it's not that they're really covering up ET so much as it is the technology, because it'll collapse the 600 trillion petrodollar empire, as he would call it. And he mentions how he got the alien and so much more. But one interesting thing about him, he says he has the CE5 ambassadors, which is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, which is human-initiated alien contact. And he's got teams around the world on every continent except Antarctica. And these people use these protocols and apparently make this sort of contact. And when we did the interview, he mentioned where you can get his protocols, and I actually went online and I found it. He apparently sells an iPad app. Unfortunately, I only have an iPhone, so I couldn't see it. It has to be an iPad, and it's only $6.99. It's not as expensive it is to go to the super events, but I'm give the challenge out there. I'd love to see someone get it, and if they get that amazing connection and contact, I would love to know it works, because that means there's a tool out there that will work. But he said that and so many amazing things. It was such a great interview, Blake, and as everyone will see, that exclusive interview only on Third Phase of the Moon, Part 1, you asked him the questions video. Part 2, we asked him the questions on air, and it was awesome.
The video will be going live right here on Third Phase of the Moon tonight, May 31st, in about a half hour. It's called UFO Sightings, Humanoid Alien, new full-length documentary. Dr. Stephen Greer Explains 2013, and we're really happy to get the word out and speak to Dr. Stephen Greer in regards to his knowledge into the alien being, the 6-inch alien. He really went in depth on this, and we asked a lot of questions, and he got a lot of detail in. And I think it's kind of interesting because it's the first time he's ever done Skype ever. So it basically is like Sirius Part 2 in its own way, right, John?
Exactly, because he goes into detail, and this is a question and answer. We ask the questions the viewers of Third Phase of the Moon wanted to know. And this is important because in other platforms, people paid to see him lecture only, and there's maybe a 10-minute, 15-minute Q&A where we had him for an hour and 15 minutes in combination between parts 1 and 2. So that's the best part about it. It almost is part 2 as a follow-up of the Sirius project.
We're getting calls in right now, but we want to take people's calls, but it has to pertain to a question to, the guests, myself, Dr. Jandy Elias, or Mr. Robert Bingham, the UFO summoner. So welcome to Third Phase of the Moon. Do you have any questions for the panel here?
Yeah, actually I do. I wanted to know how he feels as him being part of the, the mainstream media's way of introducing, as a everyday topic, the UFO agenda, and seeing how, there's always been contact with UFOs all over the world for, we could say, even millions of years. Michael Tellinger has proven that, and and all the catacombs that he found down there where they've cloned, genetically engineered beings as slaves from the Anunnaki times, and I just really wanted to know what Robert Bingham thinks of him playing a crucial role in, putting the alien agenda out there, no matter what it is, because even if people believe it or not, this phenomenon exists in our reality. So we've got to look at it logically and find out what these beings want, if they're in fact are beings or if they're holograms. We got to find out the reason behind these apparitions appearing in our atmosphere. So, I just wanted to know what Robert Bingham thinks about the whole alien agenda and his role in it.
Well, I can tell you simply that what I was told is that I am the ambassador for the Kingdom of the Most High. I'm called the Summoner because the public gave me that name. But I didn't want to go into too much of a religious aspect because of religion and the complications that people would associate. There is good angels out there, and I've been always saying that they're angels, and there is also fallen angels which are out there. And I believe that I'm in touch with the angels of the light, and that their agenda has been a little changed over the centuries by the powers that be, and only because the powers that be want to manipulate the humans here and keep them in line, which is naturally they can't give them too much power to the people. But what I'm trying to say is that their agenda is they're coming back. They're here. Every time we pray and say the Lord's Prayer, we are saying, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." Well, we're actually praying for their kingdom and their government to come down here, and that's what's going to happen. And So Jesus Christ is coming. Whatever we want to say, that the light is going to come the dark. And I'm just trying to be one of the voices in the wilderness saying, prepare the way, because they're here and they're coming. And the people better get aware that this is the truth. It's been hidden from them. And because the powers that be don't want you to know the truth. They want to keep you frightened, saying that they're abducting and that they're doing cattle mutilations and anal probes and all those ridiculous things. They're not. Maybe the bad ones that they're dealing with, maybe, yeah, they are. But as far as the ones that I'm seeing, they're coming out in the daytime. I'm out there showing them. They're out there trying to show the public that they are real and they're here. And don't be frightened because what you've been taught over these many generations. It's like it's how would I say it? That's my mission, is to bring the message that they're here and they're going to set a new agenda. Mankind hasn't been really being a good steward of the planet.
Well, we are taking calls from around the world, and they continuously come in right here live on Third Phase of Moon. And we're going to our next caller, area code 305. Welcome to Third Phase of Moon. And who are you, and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Mel, and I'm calling from Costa Rica, Grecia, Costa Rica. How are you, Blake?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Mel. Hey, welcome to the show. I think we spoke to you just earlier with Bradley and Professor Searle in regards to the machine, the free energy device. And I think Robert Bingham, he's talking with the beings, and they're interested in, getting rid of, oil and all this destructive kind of energy destroying the planet. Maybe you could enlighten our viewers about what you know about Mr. Searle and what you think the future holds.
Well, I think the Searle machine is absolutely spectacular. First of all, I've been following them for a number of years, but I've really investigated them pretty heavily over the course of the last 2-3 years. And I've actually tried raising money for their project, which is very, very difficult. The powers that be, the guys who are running the oil operations and the coal and all the BS around the world, truly have a stranglehold on not letting go of their power. Obviously, there's a major monetary interest there. And, you're really messing around with someone's $253 trillion industry. They're not about to roll over and play dead guys. The reality is that Searle's machine could change the fabric of the earth for decades, for thousands of years to come, literally. It has a lot of implications as far as being able to clean up pollutions. It will, with enough machines, believe it or not, it will clean up Fukushima, Chernobyl, etc., on and on. You can take the actual motor and put it into an electric car, and you could drive it from New York to Los Angeles and back to New York doing 129 miles an hour with all the amenities that we like air conditioning, heating, power windows, disc brakes, etc. You could put it in boats, cargo ships, cruise ships. You could put it in anything. I mean, literally, you would go from major pollution to literally zero pollution. But the fact is, until we have a monetary system that has got a stranglehold on the planet, until we get rid of that system, it's going to be very difficult to see a Searle type motor come to fruition. I'd love to see it. Believe me, it looks like the Chinese got first dibs on it, from what I know from Bradley. But at this point, it really remains to be seen. There's a lot of very powerful people in that industry, like I said. But I'd like to ask Dr. Sellers, what do you think the possibilities are that we will see a mass landing in our lifetime, or do we need to go into a zeitgeist movement before we see, a landing? They maybe want to see us get rid of the money and move towards a Searle motor for free energy.
I think it's going to take both. Both of them won't. I don't know if the landing is going to help, because apparently, according to people like Dr. Greer and other sources, they can't intervene. I don't know what that means in the sense of if they have to land in order to intervene with our, 253 trillion to possibly as high as 600 trillion. market, which what Greer says. But nonetheless, I think we need to get these Searle machines everywhere. A good friend of mine, actually, a good friend of Third Phase of the Moon, Dr. Lear, was actually telling me the way to get this to happen is we need to figure out a way to get Searle's machine manufactured in a mass way, but in a small, as a toy, almost as something you can give away as a Cracker Jack. And then once that gets around the world, there's going to be curious engineers ranging from kids to, grad students earning their PhD to actual engineers that are going to come home and look at this crazy little thing that could maybe have just enough energy producing to light up a light bulb. And they'll be fascinated. And they're going to open it and they're going to see, wow, how does this work? Let me figure this out because this is I can't believe this. And then that's how it's going to happen, because from that, whether the petrodollar, powers that be want it or not, at that point, when 1 million or 10 million or 500 million of these toy-like free energy tiny machines are around the globe, there is no way they can stop it. And that's the way to get it, I think.
What do you think about...
Well, the thing is, I think that, one of the ways, and I've discussed this with Dr. Greer at length about a year and a half, 2 years ago, with another project. The way to have a viable project like this that has obviously teeth would be to let the men in black, because they do exist, know that there's thousands of scientific teams around the world, that if you come and kill scientific team number one, scientific team number two will run with the baton, and there'll be 2,000 to follow beyond that, and letting them know of such a fact, that the technology is literally viral around the world like that, that it can spread. It would really discourage them from allowing them to come kill you and have you float down the Potomac River, as Dr. Greer likes to say. And that's a very important fact. The other thing is, I think the Hollywood crowd needs to sort of turn the other way and embrace this type of technology and go against the cabal. You need to have the Searle scientific team need to hang out with people like the Travoltas, the Tom Cruises, etc., to sort of put them in the limelight, because it would be extremely hard to kill them if they were in the limelight. There's a right way of doing this, and there's a wrong way of doing it. Obviously, as you know, they've killed many inventors with extremely viable machines in the past, and that still remains true. Not so much from the old families who have billions and trillions of dollars that they have amassed from oil, but from the new guy who just made $100 million playing in the oil industry. That guy wants to make another $200 million, $500 million. Those are the guys who will come and kill you. Those are the guys that are really the more dangerous ones. The guys that already made their big money, they don't care if Searle's magnetic motor is comes to fruition tomorrow morning. Correct me if you think I'm wrong.
No, I agree with you 100%, and I want to comment on one thing you said. If we get 2,000 scientific teams, that's exactly what you need, and you hit the nail on the head perfectly. But we can't have one pop up here, then another one pop up 3 months later and 6 months later, because they can silence 10 at a time, they can silence 20 at a time, or more. But if somehow we get 2,000 labs to actually start on this right away and take it seriously, that would be a big change, and that would be what would actually be the means to get disclosure to happen. And what you said about the media, the problem with them is they are controlled by this. It's listed that 5 corporations literally own all the media in the U.S., if not, I don't know how they're linked with the rest of the world, but in the U.S. Terry Hansen does a great presentation narrowing it down. It used to be apparently about 30, a couple of decades ago. Nonetheless, right now they're actually making more movies that are making people think that they're going to come on this mass invasion and blow us up. I just saw Dark Skies, which was a horror, classy kind of horror of an alien abduction thing, but it was all mean. At the very end, they basically... I don't want to spoil for things, but they just took the kid away and never disappeared. It disappeared kind of like Fourth Kind. It was one of those sad movies, horror movies. Nonetheless, in order for the media to actually start showing what it could be in the positive light and, making blockbuster movies about it, there needs to be a change. They need to see it around them in such global numbers, so many science teams and schools working on these devices consecutively for them to finally do it, because it takes the people to act for the demand. And when we're in small numbers, we're not going to make much difference. We need the large numbers backing, and that's why it's important for everybody who's listening out there to do what they can to support things like Searle and everything else. Now, another thing you said about Searle, even himself, wasn't he taken to jail because he didn't pay the electric bill because he had a free energy device giving him electricity and his lab destroyed?
From Costa Rica, I want to, state that I think what was just said earlier by Mel, that the Chinese might be getting a hold of this. There's 1 billion plus people over there. I don't care myself if the Chinese or if the Iranians or any of the, the countries that, really aren't friends with the U.S., if they come out exclusively and say, we got the free energy and we're going to save the world, and, just kind of like, show some kind of world-changing event that maybe might make the world change, and then the U.S. would be left out of it, but who cares? The energy's free and it's out, right?
Blake?
Yep. What do you think about that, Mark?
Yeah, and I was thinking about that. All you got, whatever, everything that everybody said just now, and I was wondering about the volcano portals and the supposed UFO crash in Okinawa, off the coast of Okinawa, and I wanted to get some feedback on a couple of that.
Certainly. Well, we want to get into the recent documentary we did about our volcanoes' possible portals for UFOs, but let's get back to Costa Rica real quick, and we'll get back to that subject. But go ahead about what's going on with the Chinese, and wouldn't it be great if any country, doesn't matter where it comes from, that basically just changed the world altogether, and that country could lay claim for the...
Well, the way I look at it is this. The Chinese have a major ambition in becoming the world dominant power. And for them to be able to get a stranglehold on Searle's technology and bring it out to the mass, and first of all, they need it more than anybody because they have tremendous amount of pollution in Shanghai and Beijing that they need to reverse immediately. It's like they don't have any more time. But the reality is they're doing it more for a monetary gain and to become a dominant player in the energy field, which is a smart move on the Chinese part, I might add. I don't know that I would trust the Chinese because they have a lot of smart people there. At some point, although I know Searle says that the technology is virtually impossible to reverse engineer, somebody's got to be able to reverse engineer it at some point. And are they going to honor their commitment to Searle and their team? That's the only thing that worries me, and I need to have a conversation with Bradley about that. I think that's something that they need to absolutely think about. Obviously, I think launching it in the United States would be a mistake. They would crush it like a grape in about a nanosecond. They don't want that kind of technology out to the masses. I think the number one place to really bring this technology, believe it or not, would probably be... Hello?
I guess we may have lost... Are you still there from Costa Rica? Unfortunately, I think we lost him. Well, let's go to Mr. Robert Bingham, the man who summons UFOs. Speaking of, people that are threatened, that are coming out showing extraordinary things, possibly threatened them. Have you ever been, followed by the Men in Black ever, Robert? Have you seen any shady people show up to the event?
Well, I've seen a lot of people there, and I don't want to be talking about that. I was told not to go public, that something might happen to me the day I went public. I almost got killed by a car that ran a red light for in time, and he would have broadsided me and killed me. But anyway, nevertheless, I wanted to say that the way to bring out this this energy is what they're doing with the UFOs are doing is they're putting it in crop circles. Those are designs, blueprints for free energy. and the energy people know it, and they're not telling you. They're trying to figure out how are they going to use that, but at the same time put a price on it. They want to get rid of oil. They would love to change over, but they still want to be in control of the money aspects of it. Now, they would change over quick if they could make money off of it and figure out how they're going to do that.
Interesting.
Until they do that, they're going to try to keep oil going.
The people in power are going to pretty much try and keep it for as long as they can. I'm sure of that. But maybe if something happens, something big happens, and it's just way out of their control, and the aliens kind of come in.
They should wake up, because the planet is going into labor pains, and it's just a warning that the party's over. They got to start changing, and they should stop trying to stop these inventors that are coming up with these solutions. I have something that was given to me by the ETs, but I haven't went public with it yet, and I'm not going to do it until I absolutely feel it goes into the right hands.
I could, understand, what we just heard from Mel over there and what Mr. Searle has to deal with. Hey, Robert Bingham, our show's about ending here, and I want to go over some topics here with Dr. Jandy Lass, but any last words, and what are you going to be doing here in the near future?
Well, first, Blake, I just want to go back to what you said about the countries, and absolutely, I'm in total agreement with you. Who cares if it's not the U.S., just somebody get it out there and make sure it's open. And if any countries come in, it might be Brazil, because they don't need oil. They run on ethanol. They're the first nation to actually do that, and I think that's a big step. Nonetheless, what's coming new to Third Phase of Moon? Oh, Blake, there's some exclusive Third Phase of Moon interviews only. As you know, we're going to be hearing from Jose Escamilla, great filmmaker, but more importantly, we got some bigger guests. We got Jesse Marcel Jr., the last person from Roswell who actually held the footage, crash debris in his hand. We're also being joined by Betty Hill's niece, Kathleen Martin. She's got plenty of stories to tell because she's also an abduction specialist herself. And we also have a good battle/debate going on with Stanton Friedman and Robert Schaefer, which that will be happening in July. These other ones,
that's going to be fun.
Week.
That's going to be a lot of fun seeing those guys going head to head. One the biggest skeptic, and then the biggest, ufologist in the world, Godfather. I can't wait for that. It's going to be like a Rocky Balboa, Rocky movie. Well, don't you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. And for all the listeners out there, globally, listen to it. It's on freedomslips.com. It's Thursdays, 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, freedomslips.com. And, of course, you'll be seeing it on Third Phase of Moon after the live broadcast. And while you're at it, take the number down to call in. We'd love to hear from you during the show. Ask the guests some questions yourselves. All these amazing guests that are coming to exclusive Third Phase of Moon shows. The area code is 347-474-7228. The Third Phase of Moon extension show extension is 818. Again, 347-474-7228, extension 818. Again, Thursdays 5 to 7 Pacific Standard Time.
Hey, Dr. Jandy Elias, I really want to thank you for joining us right here at Third Phase Moon, and we look forward to speaking to you in the near future.
Anytime, Blake. Thanks again.
All right, appreciate it. Robert Bingham, the UFO summoner, what are you going to be doing next here in the next week or so? Any new events, and what's your plans?
Right now it's up in the air. Don't plan on doing too many public events anymore. But I do plan on finishing a book, and I'm doing a documentary. I'm just trying to get everything together. Hello?
Hey, well, Robert, we look forward to your documentary that you put together. We'd sure like to see it and showcase, parts of it right here in Third Phase and share it with the world.
Oh, well, thank you, Blake, and I'll make sure that you're one of the first ones I give that to.
All right. Hey, Robert, I really appreciate you joining us right here at Third Phase of Moon and sharing some of your thoughts to the people from around the world.
Well, thank you, Blake, and you have a good night, and thank you for inviting me on the show.
Appreciate it. The week of May has been busy. I think it's the busiest month so far in the life of Third Phase of Moon, with just incredible testimony, talking about free energy devices that could change the planet. This is some heavy stuff and some incredible UFO video. And we appreciate everybody worldwide who watches it. The 80,000 subscribers, if it wasn't for you and the people watching and the people submitting their incredible videos, Third Phase of Moon would not be here. And we take that very importantly and take it to heart. We want to get the word out. And if anybody out there has captured anything amazing in regards to UFOs, we want to see it. So send it to Third Phase of Moon via Skype or Facebook. My name's Blake Cousins, and we'll see you again next time.
Third Phase.